Welcome, everyone, to Meeting the New Logos. So excited you could join us this morning. We are going to record this session, and then we'll make it available on youtube.com/LearnLogos. As you probably have seen, Logos has started to promote their software. What I want to do for you today is two things, is definitely demo the software so you can see it live. Put your questions in the chat box, and I'll do my best to answer them. And we'll be good to go. Just three quick announcements for you. So number one, don't forget we run free training 2024 through 25. We've got live training schedule. The 2025 schedule will probably be out in the next 30 days. These will be using the new version of Logos starting with the next session. So just go to LearnLogos.com/events. We run these every other Thursday with the latest version, and what sets us apart from all other trainings, we're topic-based for these webinars. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different topics. If you have any topics that you want, just email me at webinars@LearnLogos.com, and if we do that topic, you'll get the webinar for free. So take advantage of that. Also, we have a VIP program. This is really critical. So starting Monday, I send out a new video every Monday on a feature of Logos. So obviously with the new version, all the VIP members will start getting the new content rolling out. What sets us apart from other subscription programs is that when you cancel, you keep the content you collected. Now, we don't give you everything out of the gate, but we do give you a whole bunch of free stuff. And then all the new webinars we produce, as long as you're a subscriber, you get that. So keep the content, cancel anytime. We always do 2 webinars a month. Each week we release a short Learn Logos training video. There is a 20% discount on most things in the store. We also give you a monthly coupon so you can go into the archive of the videos maybe you don't have and grab those. And then also we give you a web form. So you can ask me any question related to the Bible, Bible software, sermon prep, Bible study, really anything related to all this. So take advantage of that. It's a great subscription program. And remember, you keep the content after you cancel. Now, this is the big deal that I did want to spend just an extra moment or two. I have, over the years, I've been doing this for 15 years as LearnLogos.com. I've been using the software since 1998. I'm actually wrapping up my dissertation at Southern, and my dissertation is how to prepare a sermon with Logos. So I'm pretty excited about that. And this course is designed to take you through really exhaustively how to study the Bible, and then also if you want to prepare a message, that as well. What we're going to do is we're going to meet every other week on a Tuesday night. We'll be recording, so if you can't make it, not a big deal. And we're going to walk you through 17 live sessions. And this is really designed to be hands-on, very practical. We'll actually take you through a specific Bible passage. And we're going to use all the tools, give you a methodology, and help you use this new technology in every way imaginable for sermon preparation. In addition to the online training, every week we'll be releasing a new personal book. Think of it as a manual. It has all the searches. It has all the details. All of it is there, links to special books where you can read additional content. And like I said, if you can't make it, we've recorded it. Will be delivered to you the next 24 hours. So if you're interested, we've got a special. It retails right now for $200. We're doing this for $99 right now. VIP members can get it for $90. And so take advantage of that. Just go to LearnLogos.com/study. All right, so let's get started. And what I want to do today is walk you through all the features. All right, so let's begin first with this dashboard. All right, this is a big change for Logos, and you can see the icon right there. All right, so this is the dashboard icon. This is really designed for brand new users. If you're not sure where to go, where to begin, this is probably the best place to start. And they give you a little training video here. It's about 2 minutes long, no big deal. Very helpful in how to set your preferred Bible. Notice that you can actually set it right here. So they save you the time and you have to choose this. So again, this is designed for brand new users. Now you'll see over here this new box. This is Getting Started Wizard. And there's actually 4 of them. Now, what Logos is trying to do is eliminate some of that initial setup that you would do to customize. So if you're brand new to Logos, this actually is pretty helpful. So let's walk through each one real briefly, see what it's doing. If you click on Personal Study, you'll notice that you get this box. And we're going to go ahead and just type in Ephesians 2:8. Now, notice when you type in the book name, you don't need to put in the full book name. You can hit space, hit the number 2, hit space again, and actually put in the verses. And Logos is smart enough so you don't have to put in the colon and the period. That will save you a ton of time. And then just click. Notice the icon, the little red ribbon. That's something you want to learn because that will always tell you you're selecting a Bible passage. Now, what Logos is going to do is immediately open up several windows. Obviously, your preferred Bible is going to be opened at the left, and now you're going to see this new Insights window that automatically opens. We'll come back to this in just a minute. Then it's going to grab your two preferred or prioritized commentaries. In this case, I had the MacArthur Study Bible and Tom Constable's expository notes on the Bible. And then it opens up the Help Center. This is to remind you that at any moment you can get help. So as a tip, I would just close this immediately because up at the top, Logos has now placed the help icon right here. And the help icon is a big deal because no longer are you just searching the manual. You're going to search everything that Logos has available to help you. So for example, if I type in cross references and press enter or click search, I am going to get the Logos help manual. You can see it right there. But now I'm getting the support page. And if I scroll down, it's going to take me to any related videos, etc. So this is more than just access to the manual. It's really access to all the training available at LearnLogos.com. It is a lot of information, and it will tell you if it's locked or not, which means you may not be able to use this, etc. But just be aware that most things in here are pretty accessible. And I'm going to go ahead and click the X on the tab. Now, as you can see, the Bible's opened up. If you want to change your preferred Bibles at the right here, these commentaries, you'll still use the standard practice you used before. You'll go to the library icon at the top left. Then you'll go over to the far right and click that I inside the circle. That's the information window. And then you will click here on this icon. Now, another shortcut to get there is just click the three vertical dots. That's the stoplight menu. And you'll see prioritized books. You can click it there. Now, as you can see in my prioritized book list, I have a lot of information. But if I scroll down, you'll see that I have here my first commentary, Tom Constable, MacArthur Study Bible, Bible Knowledge Commentary. If I move the Bible Knowledge Commentary up by left-clicking, dragging, and dropping, and take Tom Constable, let's leave Tom where it is and leave MacArthur third. If I go back to the dashboard and I do personal study and I do Ephesians 2:8 again through 9, you will notice that there is a change. At least that's how it's supposed to work. Let me change the passage just in case it's remembering. Sometimes it does that. 1 through 2, let's say. Yeah, there we go. So now we've got the MacArthur Study Bible, we've got the Bible Knowledge Commentary, and Tom Constable has been taken off the chessboard, so to speak. So you can control those commentaries very quickly. Now, again, this is to get you up and running. I still recommend, and my training shows you how to create your own layouts for more refined and more systematic study. All right, so that's the Getting Started Wizard. It is a little bit different for these other ones. For example, if you do group Bible study and you put in a passage, I'll put in Ephesians 2:8, you're going to see that you get your Bible. Tucked in the corner is your first preferred Bible commentary, and then it opens up the notes window as well, and then this new feature, which is the Bible Study Builder. And if we actually click and collapse all the books, you're going to see that Logos is going into your library, giving you access to these books that have questions in it. And we'll spend more time in this in a few minutes, but essentially, you're getting some help in Bible study. You can then create this very engaging Bible study for everyone in the group, and this can be shared with others. We'll come back to in a minute, but at least want to let you see what these little layouts look like. If we click again on the dashboard icon top left, we can click Write a Sermon. Again, we'll put in a passage, Ephesians 2:8, and in a minute, Logos will refresh. Now, notice these layouts are quite full. I'm using a 1920 by 1080 screen share right now, so you can see the limitations of the information. But essentially, Factbook opened up. Notice the commentary changed a little bit. The reason you're seeing different commentaries is it depends if that verse actually is located in the Bible commentary. So since Bible Knowledge has 2:8, where my verse is going, it showed up. Notice I have a blank sermon doc. I have a notes doc. Then down below, my preferred Bible, and it actually opened up the Nestle Aland Greek New Testament, my preferred Greek New Testament. Also, don't miss this. Logos has gone out of the way to link all these resources. So now they're automatically linked, saving you time. Now, if you like this layout, you can always save it by going up here to the top, and you can click the layouts, and then all you have to do is choose Save as Name Layout, give it a name, and you're good to go. And at that point, going forward, you've got this layout saved. But again, the purpose of these quick studies is to get you in and out quickly. The original language, what does that look like? Well, we'll go ahead and click it. Notice that you can put in a passage or a lemma. And so let's put in Ephesians 2:8 for now, and we'll go ahead and press enter. Notice I did not even have to click the drop-down menu. Now, Logos take a moment to load. Notice the emphasis now in the original language. We're seeing the Greek Bible first, then a NASB, our preferred English Bible. Down below, a dictionary, our preferred dictionary, and also a second lexicon. Now, the reason they're doing this, it's all linked, is because if I click on a Greek word, you'll see below that it's changing the dictionary. So this is saving you time to figure out, how do I link all these things? So if I want to know what this Greek word means, I just click on it once, and there I have the word sozo for salvation. And again, you can still right-click on these books, get access to all your menus as before. Notice my preferred 2 commentaries are showing up. And then again, the Help Center. You're going to find that the Help Center keeps popping up, and that's going to be quite annoying. So you're going to want to just click and close that right away and get into the data. Also, if you want to move the windows around, not much work. Just left-click between it. You can drag and drop, and then you can move them. So just by moving your mouse between those bars, you can right away reselect everything there. And so you're good to go. You're also going to see this this bar at the top appear quite often for a little while, so you can click that and get some more space. So you can see that this is working really well with Logos, these shortcuts to these simple layouts. And then you have the option, pick up where I left off. And that'll literally just have the last screen. Now, for what it's worth, if you click on Tools and type in Settings, this will take you to Program Settings. Many of you Logos users know about this. And there is this option right here you should be aware of, at Startup Open To. And I have mine defaulted to Most Recent Layout Any. I use multiple computers, and so no matter where I am, I always want to go back to the last thing I've done. But if you choose, you can also choose various specific layouts that you want as well. So just be aware of that. And so this can control kind of what's starting off. But if you scroll the very top, you're going to see Dashboard. So if you want to use the dashboard every single time, then that's what you want to choose. But if you're working through a passage and you just want to pick up where you left off, just go right here, Most Recent Layout Any, and you are good to go. All right, so let me go ahead and click the X to close that down. So let me pause. This is a good time to take a break as we go to the next few features. Are there any questions on the dashboard? Anything that's come to your mind that doesn't seem to, that maybe you want to try or see or have specific questions? And yeah, Eric, you're absolutely right. This is a new feature that can help with layouts. Question, can you default the Help Center to not pop up? Absolutely. So the key to doing that, and I'll demonstrate this again, is click Tools, type in Settings, click Program Settings, and then go right here to at Startup Options. All right. And then what you want to do is click Most Recent Layout Any. That's the one I recommend. Or if you prefer, you can even have a blank layout. So this will allow you to avoid having it pop up. As far as the Help Center, I haven't been able to figure out that one yet. In fact, I was scrolling through these to see if there is an option that maybe just recently got added, but I'm not seeing it. So unfortunately, that help thing keeps popping up. And I haven't seen any changes in here to let us do that. Let me just double check to make sure there's nothing else. Normally they do this, but I think right now that's just kind of the way it's doing it. It's making the assumption you're kind of new, so you're probably better off just clicking it right away. And yeah, great question, Ken. How about the background? Logos has implemented the dark mode. So if you go to the top right, you'll see the three dots, the vertical three dots, the stoplight menu, and you'll see right here application themes. So now you can click dark mode and it instantly changes. You don't have to restart. So this is really handy. I prefer the light mode personally, but you now have the flexibility to do both. And very nice. Okay, not seeing any more questions on the dashboard. So let's continue to the next one, which is the smart searching. And let me just go ahead and resize my windows here. There we go. Get a little more room. And let's do the smart search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on search. And we'll click that here. Now, Logos has really expanded the search window. In fact, I'm going to just go full screen on this. You can see there's all Bible books, fact book, morph, media, docs, maps, fact book tags, bookstore clause, and syntax. If your window is too small, you'll see a more that will appear, and that will give you access to these. Now, what we want to do on this is just go to all. And you'll notice that when you do all, and by the way, I'm using the Max subscription at this moment, you'll see this little icon. You got to get familiar with the AI icon. When you see that, that means you're in AI mode, which means you can type in any kind of question. So, for example, tell me more about the millennial kingdom. All right. And we'll just go ahead and type that in. And again, it's a natural language search, so you can type it really any way you want. Now, what Logos is going to give you, and this is why AI has been integrated, is, and this is actually a really cool feature, but it may take a moment to load, is the synopsis feature. So what's going on here? Well, if we expand it by clicking more, you'll see that Logos is giving us a quick summary from the search. And what's nice is they're giving you these little footnotes, 1, 2 through 5, linking you to the books in your library on that specific comment. So this is really helpful, and it's a way to get your attention to key books in your library. You can copy this, and then you can paste it into Word. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So let me open up my Word document here and bring that into our layout. And so we can go ahead and paste that in there, and there you go. So it's just like a document, very straightforward, nothing too fancy there. But this synopsis I have found to be very useful in summarizing some big doctrines. So if you want to understand, let's say, the doctrine of justification, let's put in doctrine of justification, press enter, and in a few minutes it'll come up. Now, Logos with each subscription is giving you AI credits. When you use the synopsis search, they tell you it's going to use 10 times more tokens than any other type of AI feature. Now, Logos doesn't have right now a way to see how many tokens each search has generated, but they are going to make a icon appear up here. It's not right now, I haven't crossed the threshold, but once you hit 80% of the AI usage in a month, an icon will appear. They say eventually they're going to make this standard and it'll always be available to you. But just be aware, this is why they've moved to a subscription-based model, because AI costs money. And if you're wondering the AI credits, how it works, let me pull up this little screenshot. So with the Logos Premium, which is equivalent to Bronze, you're going to get roughly over 300 AI credits. When you go to Logos Pro, you're going to get roughly 667 credits. I think they didn't show these numbers because it would have been 666, and that's just kind of weird that way. And in the Logos Max, they're going to give you 1,000 AI credits. I've been using the Max for over a month, and I have been on the Max, and I've never, ever exceeded the number of credits. And I prepare sermons every week, so you should not be running into a problem with 1,000 credits. So just be aware of that. And we'll come back to this chart in a little bit. All right, so just checking on here. Great, no questions. Let's see. Oh, great question. I have about a dozen cards on the dashboard. Logos has put what you would like to study and the need blocks at the top. They are in their way. Is there any way to move them or turn them off? Hey, that is an excellent dashboard question. So yes, if you click on the icon here at the top right, a couple things. Actually, if you click the plus, that's where it was. If you click the plus with the circle, you can uncheck the Get Started card and you can uncheck the Help Center card. And then you click the X for the other ones. So you do have some flexibility to turn these on with the Get Started and the Help Center card. So there you go. Great question. Will the AI work with image searches? That is an excellent question, John. And let's save that for a little bit when we get to the searching here. So yeah, we'll do that very soon. So, all right, let's go back to the searching so we can answer John's question after we wrap up this. So you can see the doctrine of justification is wonderful. And again, they are introducing you to these Logos locked books. This is important. With the alt search, you can search Logos's complete library, and then you can decide if you want to purchase that book. I find this very handy. Now I'm going to click Summarize on a locked book. And sure enough, I get a basic summary from that. Very handy. So this can help you in deciding, do I want to buy this personal book or this book in the library or not? So be aware of that. Now, if we scroll down and look at the search results, you're going to see that most of it is text. But let's put in a place. So maybe we can search for a map. Let's say I'm looking for an image of the Jerusalem temple. Let's do that. So Jerusalem temple. All right, so there we go. And let's see if Logos is smart enough, per John's request, to find us some images. Now, I'm going to click on this first link here, and yes, it actually took me to a book with an image of a Jerusalem temple. And you can see that some of these will show you some images in the Factbook card that's integrated. But you'll notice that we're not seeing any images in the search results. That is a little disappointing, but let's see if we can work around this. So I'm kind of winging a few things here. So let's try this. So let's go to the media search. And you'll notice that the smart search is not available, all right? In fact, let me do this for you. I'm going to click to the books menu, all right? So we just did the alt search. I'm now going to switch to books. You'll see here at the top right, I have this option, smart. And if we click on that, we have smart and precise. So when the smart appears, that means you can leverage the AI for searching. You'll discover that smart is only available for all search and book search. It's not available for Factbook. It's not available for Morph, not available for media, not available for docs, maps, or anything else, which is unfortunate. But like I said, you can search of it. Now, has Logos indexed all of its maps in this new version? It's definitely gotten better, all right? So if, for example, we go to media and we type in, let's say, Jerusalem, and we put it in there, we'll say City Jerusalem. We can click on your media, and we can, again, as before, focus on, let's say, maps. So let's see the kind of search results. I have seen a dramatic improvement in Logos. I just did this for my VIP subscribers. If you're going to try to maximize your search results, what you want to do is this. Use the place Jerusalem. Can't go wrong with there. But then type space or space, and then put in Jerusalem again. By putting in the non-place, you're going to get more results. And that will give you the maximum amount of images possible for your maps. And as you can see, there's more than you can shake a stick at. So Logos has improved. The map indexing, you will get more than you did before. All right, question on searching. So this is the smart search, and I really like those synopsises. Very helpful. Again, available on the all and available on the books. If you go to books, you can switch back and forth. However, if you're an advanced user and you use some Boolean operators, let's say we type in Bible, John 3:16. All right, and actually what I like to do is just type in John 3:16. Now notice this, because I'm in the AI, it's not giving me those drop-down menus. Just be aware of that. So if I want to click on precise and I type John 3:16, all right, Logos is going to give me that drop-down menu. So be aware of that. And let's say I do near, and I would put in evangelism. All right, so I'm looking for this concept of evangelism with John 3:16. This is a precise search. If I were to just immediately jump to the smart search and run that identical search, Logos, because I've got these special search criterion there, it switches automatically to precise. So just be aware of that. You can't intermingle those. So when you do the smart search, it has to be natural language. So be aware of that. But you can type in, again, John 3:16, and you could say evangelism, and that'll get you there. So it's eliminating the need to know these special searches. It takes away some of the precision, but in exchange, it gives you back some pretty good search results. So be aware of that. All right, let's go to the next one, insights. All right, so let's go to insights. So let's open up a book and kind of walk through this very briefly. I'm going to open up a Bible at the left, and then I'm going to open up just a standard study Bible at the right. So you can see the insights icon right here, okay? And you'll notice that we're not seeing it here in our books, all right? And this is a verse-based book. If we open up, let's say, a commentary, and I'll just pick a random one right here, okay, you'll see that it's not there, okay? So just be aware of that. This is unique to a Bible-based book. And the reason it is because it's launching from the verse passage, in this case, Ephesians 2:8, and is trying to find related books. Now, sometimes it takes a moment. You may have to click to refresh or to open it up. And essentially what this is doing is grabbing from the passage guide a couple things. It's grabbing the commentaries, again, your prioritized books. Notice it's only grabbing 2 of them, and I haven't found a way to increase that number. And then it's given us related passages. Now, in this case, there's some parallel passages, so we get this option, and then we have cross-references. Notice down below, we're getting a link to the specific parallel passages, so be aware of that. And then the cross-reference is a link now to the passage guide where you can go through and look at everything. So the insights is a quick grab and go. That's really what it's for. And again, very helpful, a good reminder. And if you don't want to see it, just collapse it. When you do want to see it, click insights. You'll also see the info button is there now. That gives you information on the book. And now you have the help window, which you click there, opens the help panel. The help panel is everywhere. You also can just press F1 on your keyboard, and that'll open it up as well. So there is help every turn in Logos Bible software. All right, any questions on the Insights button? Pretty straightforward. It's connected to Bibles. If we put in a Greek Bible, let's say the NA28, and let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and open up that. You will see the Insights button is there. And again, it's going to grab. Notice it didn't show anything, but if I click once, click again, now it shows up. So be aware that Logos is still a little glitchy with the new version, but a few extra clicks will get you there. Notice it's the identical information. All right, so that's the insights. Now let me close everything down, and let's get real. I'm a big fan of Logos, as you guys know, but the biggest challenge you're going to have, especially if you have been using Logos for a long time, is this new, what they call dynamic toolbar. It is going to be very disorientating to you for your first couple weeks. I just want to get you a heads up on this. You're going to be clicking this often because you're like, where is this thing that I used to have? And but I will encourage you that it is a little more efficient in some cases, and it is a little bit easier, but it is a major adjustment. So what I'd like to do is now take some time and walk you through this because there is a lot of changes they've made. So first and foremost, the Bible reference box hasn't changed. You're good there. You type in your verse, you can type in a word or phrase, and that'll take you to those pericope paragraph settings, right? So if we wanted to find the feeding of the 5,000, we can type feeding or type in 5,000. I forget which one it is. Maybe I have to put in the number. Let's put in maybe it's not in there. I'll put in feed. Yeah. So sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. There's Solomon born, etc. Okay. Now, to the left of that, you see this little drop-down menu. This will surprise you. You can click here, all right, and you can change the book. But look what's really going on. It's your parallel resources. So now I can switch my Bibles right here. Notice I have my little menu at the bottom right, previous page. So if you've built up some parallel resources, some jump lists, things like that, this is where you're going to locate them, right there. So this will throw you off if you're not aware of that. So just click it once, and now you're good to go. All right. Also at the far left, you'll see we have here the navigation bar. So this moves you back and forth. So if we click this, let's go to a different passage, John 3:16. All right, now it's enabled. If I click it, I can go back, and now I've got the forward button. So there you go. There's the navigation. Now let's click on home, and let's work our way through there. Notice that I can collapse this dynamic toolbar by clicking on any menu option twice. If I click it once, it opens it. I click it again, it closes. So that's really important to save reading space. Also, at the far right, you will see this guy. That will also open it, and that will also close it. I have found after using this, just double click, that's the easy, or just click once and it closes it. Most likely you're looking at it, so all you need to do is click on it once to close. All right, now let's work through each one of these. The home button is the home book. Think of this as everything related to the book. So here we go, table of contents. Access to your favorites that are linked to this particular passage. Your history is now here, okay? Again, you can see everything that we've clicked on. If I go to another passage, let's say Revelation 21, and I click on history, there's my history related to that book. If I open up another book, let's say the Bible Knowledge Commentary, and I click on history, I'm only seeing the history for that book. This is really nice compared to the original history. That's an icon I have here, and that has everything. So this is a really nice balance. By integrating history, I'm now keeping track of the history within the book. I really like that feature. All right. Now the verse, what does this do? This is where you can change how you move through a book. I don't know about you, but I very rarely have used this. But if I wanted to jump from, let's say, chapter to chapter, I click chapter, and now I'm navigating chapter 21, 20, I'm going back. You can see that working. So I don't know too many use cases for this, but verse is really the default setting and what you want. Here's also where you can link your Bible to another book. So if I click link set, I can choose A. I can now go to home. I can click link set. I can choose A, and now the books are linked. All right. So the menus are now really hidden. So it's going to take a while to reorient your mind to say, oh yeah, the home page is where these are. What I have found myself doing often is just scanning through these until I find the one I'm looking for. So you're going to have that experience for your first couple weeks. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. Here's the question. How do you make the NASB smooth scrolling? That's a good question. Are you saying like the way, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So to get the smooth scrolling, this is sort of it, Dave. I'm going to click on the 3 vertical dots. And actually, let me do this. It's actually a particular view. So let me go to the view. And right now I'm on page view. You can see that there. I'm going to click on this option. And I'm going to leave my footnotes off. I think this might be what you're looking for. This is, yeah, I'm not seeing the scrolled view here. Let me go off here. I mean, this is a I guess this is what you're looking at. And I'm moving at one verse at a time. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, Dave. Maybe you can clarify that. If you're in, let me say it this way. If you're in the column view, then you don't have any scrolling. Instead, you have a page view. And yeah, set columns to none. So that's pretty much what this is. Yeah, so I'm going to turn off the page view. I'm going to, and now I have the smooth scrolling. That's pretty much what it is. And great question. All right, let me just digress a little bit. It's okay if we jump around. It's a little erratic, but it's more fun this way. What are the differences between article, book view, and verse view? Yeah, so let me go back to home. It's how you're going to navigate. So if I choose book, see I'm in Revelation 19. If I hit down or up, I'm now Revelation. I'm now Jude. I'm jumping through books. And I just don't find this very practical. When I'm studying the Bible, I'm going to be in the verse view. I'm going to type in the verse I want to go to, and away I go. And let's go back to the home page. Pretty straightforward. Let's go now at search. This is your inline search option. So notice over at the right, we've got all Bible text. That's where we can search the special fields. We can choose the verse, and we can choose all the passages. And this is essentially your inline search. So if we wanted to search for justification, we can do that. No difference there. You can also click the keyboard, and you can type in Greek and Hebrew. Me personally, I have found that the inline search is a little distracting because it takes me out of my Bible view. So a lot of times I'll just grab, drag, and drop and run that search independently. But if you do like that inline search, you can do that just by clicking search, and you're there in and out. Let's continue with the next one, notes. Now, Logos has tried to make this a little bit easier, but what they're doing is they're integrating the visuals to let you know there is a note, as well as the ability to take a note. So they've combined those in one view. So here we are in the show notes. Notice when I click on it, I have this option very quick. I can turn it on, and now I've got access to all my notes, and I can look for my specific notebook and turn it on, turn it off. So if I had a note, let's say, I'm not sure if I've got one in Ephesians 2:8. I do. Here we go. So if I want to see these icons, I've got to go to Notes. I've got to go to Show Notes. I've got to enable that indicator, and then I've got to find the one I want. So be aware of this extra step, but that's how we move forward with notes in the new Logos. Now we can add a note very easily. I like this feature because in one click, my notes window is opened up, it's create a note, and I'm good to go. Just remember, if you add a note, all right, make sure you know where you're adding a note to. In this case, it's 2:9. Even though I'm looking at verse 8, my setting, my location is 2:9. So very important. Also, as a general rule, if you're going to create a note, make sure you set a notebook. Otherwise, you're going to have a wild and free note. It's going to be somewhere in here, and it's going to be very difficult to find. So as a rule, if you plan on taking notes, create a notebook for that topic, for that passage, or even for that book, and set that notebook so that in the future, when you create a new note, you're assigned it. So let's do this. Let's go ahead for the fun of it. I'm going to choose BTI, and I'm now going to go to verse 10 or verse 11, and I'm going to add a note. Notice again, this is very key. Logos is not remembering the notebook setting. So I want you to be aware of that. Okay? Very, very key. Now I'm just going to go ahead and delete these notes very quickly by selecting them. And notice I selected multiple ones by clicking on the first one, hold the shift button down, click on the last one. This gives me a multiple selection. I now can choose delete selected notes. All right. So adding a note is on the fly. I didn't get this one apparently. Let me go ahead and delete that guy. So I'm going to click here on the menu and choose delete note, and now it's gone. So we add a note on the fly. If you click highlighting, Logos will open up the highlighting toolbar, and now you're good to go. And any highlights you have are seen there as well. The notes filter is kind of a new feature, sort of, and it allows you to change your Bible to only show those verses in your notes, all right? So, for example, I have a notes filter for Genesis, and so here's all my verses in that notes. That might come in handy, but just be aware of that, and you can move through there. So the notes is all about notes. We can click and close that. And let's see here. Let's see. Almost, Dr. Fowley, we were not seeing English in the translation panel. We were seeing German. This may be due to delay in the video. Yeah. Thanks, JB. There is a little bit of delay, so I apologize for that. Okay. Excellent. Let's go to the next one, which is formatting. So think of formatting as what you're applying visually to this Bible. What do you want to see in the Bible? So, for example, the fact book tags, you can now turn those on. Again, you click the item, and then there is the show fact book tags. And then you can choose which tags you want to see. Notice you do have show in all appropriate books. So this kind of makes it a universal setting, or do not show in any books. All right. Now, you'll see that the blue lines have appeared. That means if you click on it, the fact book will open up and take you to the information. So be aware that that's the toggle switch right here. And you have to click on the label first, then click on the toggle switch second. Markers, I highly recommend you always leave that enabled and have everything checked, unless you have some good reason not to. This tells you who the addressees are, the speakers, timeline events, also the media, atlas maps, other media, and verse of the day. This is a really nice feature. So, for example, I'm going to click on all and go to Genesis 1:1. And in a moment, you'll see right here, there's those markers. Okay, those are verse slides. So if I click on it, Logos will open up, and there's the slide for that verse. So I love seeing that. Since I teach and preach, I like to leverage these slides as much as possible. If you were to click markers and do the toggle switch off, it goes away. So definitely go in there and mark them all. All right, the next one is emphasize. This is where you're getting into how Logos, your Bible, interacts with the click, with the mouse, and some search results. This is my recommended view, and notice I do have this enabled. I always have it on click. I don't want Logos doing something unless I intentionally want Logos to do it. If you put this on hover, it's going to just be, you're going to see all these flashes of blue, and you're going to have a seizure. So just kidding, all kidding. So put it on click. Now, what I've done here is corresponding words. So I have same lemma. I really care about the underlying language, and I choose lemma. If I choose root, just be aware you're going to get a lot more words that have different lemmas. So I'm really caring about, is the lemma the same? So if I type in created or I click on heavens, this tells me that underneath the English word heavens, all of those lemmas are the same. That's really important. But if I click on same root, all right, there's a potential, actually, this is more in the Greek. Let's go to John 1:1 and demonstrate this. If I say the beginning, all right, there's two, the word, you're going to see I'm going to get a few more. Was is a good example, the to be. So just be aware that when you do this emphasize, my advice is lemma. The current dictionary entry lemma, you definitely want that. That's really helpful. Popular highlights, what's happening now is everyone is highlighted everything, so everything is highlighted. So it's no longer very useful, so I would uncheck that. And then corresponding text in other books, this is really important, text selection. In fact, I would go to the right and say, make sure it's showing all appropriate books. Now watch this. This is really handy. So I'm going to open up a Greek Bible. And this helped me learn Greek better. So let's say I select beginning was the word. You now can see the exact Greek phrase highlighted. I love that feature. And you can do it the same way. You can select the Greek and now the English translation. So I really love this capability in Logos to do this. So I definitely recommend that emphasis. All right. And definitely want to be a click. All right. Can you view the notes full screen without any menus? Yeah, great question, John. Let me go ahead and just do that. In fact, let me close this all down. Let's open up my Bible again. Let's go to notes and let's go to add a note. Here we go. So now we get this 3 columns. To hide everything, locate the arrows at an angle. There they are, right there. When you click that, now you're in business. I think that's what you're getting at, John, is this getting rid of that 3-column view. And of course, the hamburger menu allows you to see some things. Be aware of that. Notice that when I clicked on it, it opened up this menu. So again, I'll click the double arrow, and now I've got a pure note window. Great question. All right, let's go now. So that is the formatting section for emphasize. Let's talk about reformatting. This is where you control the look of your Bible, all right? And you'll notice that I have this enabled. You have a find box so you can search for anything, but the menu isn't that long. Notice I have everything in the Bible text selected. I want to see the Bible text formatting, in other words, italics, things like that, poetry formatting. I want to see the chapter and verse numbers. I want to see footnote indicators. I want to see non-Bible text. That would be the paragraph headings. And I want to convert this to a 1 verse per line Bible. If I turn this off, and I'll give you a good example, let's do the ESV. All right, so let's open up the ESV Bible. And I'm going to again click on formatting, reformat, and I'm going to uncheck 1 verse per line. Now I'm in paragraph mode. Now, unfortunately, the New American Standard is built to be a 1 verse per line. So if we change this, it's still going to be 1 verse per line. So they say, hey, John, it's not working. That's unique to the NASB. But most other Bibles are paragraph based, and that's harder to read. So clicking reformat, choosing one verse per line, clicking at the right here, showing all appropriate books. Now that's a standard across the board. That's a very handy feature. If you have any reading plans, you can click on it and enable it, and the reading plan note will appear reminding you, hey, this is where you're at in your reading plan, so be aware of that. And then these last two, there's no words next to them. But if you float your mouse, you'll get filter by passage list. Again, I don't use this too often, but it is very handy if, for example, you've created a passage list, let's say on the Millennial Kingdom or all the verses on election, and you just want to study those. This allows you to kind of turn your Bible into just a giant verse list, and very helpful. Also, the one to the right, this is probably the most important one. Here is your visual filter. Totally hidden now, all right? So formatting, visual filter, click the drop-down menu. There you can enable it or disable it. Once you enable it, all the visual filters in one giant menu and searchable. So this search menu is actually very handy because I use this all the time. Here's my New Testament verbs. I've now enabled that visual filter. You can download this and a whole bunch of things for free from my public site. In fact, let me just do that real quick. If you click on Documents on the main menu, and then you go to Public, if you type in LearnLogos.com, it'll take a minute. Logos will generate a list of all the freebies. I've got visual filters, custom guides, a whole bunch of stuff. I have discovered, though, that if you click on the first one, let me just do this real quick. And you can do this. Click on the first one in the space. And then if you press Control-A for a PC, Command-A for a Mac, you'll get a list of all of them, 361s. And then you can click Add All to your docs, or you can click up here, Add to your docs, and those will download those. All right, a little digression there. All right, I don't see the visual filter button in my Logos version 37. All right, good question, Ron. So let's see, maybe expand the window and see if it's there. You'll see that as you expand the window, the labels now appear. So it's a good chance that visual filter is there, just a little hidden. It should be, because that's a standard feature that doesn't require a subscription. All right, so that hopefully will solve the problem. So be aware of that for formatting. And again, you have your next and previous, which again is navigating. All right, Ron, if you still don't have it, it could be one other possibility. Does that book not have any visual filters? Because my hunch is that the new visual filters is specific to that book. So let me demonstrate here. I'm going to go to Documents. Let's test this theory out. And let's go to New, and let's go to Visual Filter. All right, and we're just going to, for the fun of it, put in the word love, and we're going to have the formatting be pink foreground. All right, and we're going to be very precise here. We're going to say NASB 95. Okay, so, and we'll just call this a test. And notice again, it's Bible, all Bible text, all passages, New American Standard there. And let's go to John 3:16. Okay, there's love in pink. And so now you should see the visual filter icon. Now, unfortunately, let's see if I've got a really unique book. I don't have any. Let me see. It's kind of tricky. I really don't have any books that don't have any visual filters. That would be kind of unique. But that's the idea. So I'm just wondering if there just isn't any visual filters that you have for that particular one. So that could be the issue. All right, great question. What if I'm showing two Bibles in parallel? Good question. So to do that, we would go here. Actually, let me back up. That would be the next option, which is under View. So let's jump into View, and then we'll come back to this question on visual filters. But in the meantime, let me turn off the visual filters. Notice I just click on the icon and then click the switch. All right, so let's now go to View. And let's walk through this. So now you can add a parallel text. This is the multi-view, if you remember that. You could have a book appear and disappear. So for example, I like the New American Standard. I also like to check the King James Version. All right, so there it is. I'm going to scroll down, find the King James Version. I'm going to check it. And now the King James Version is there to appear. And notice if I click, again, the parallel text drop-down, I can turn this view on and off, and I can change the view to be horizontal or vertical. So this is where you control the multi-book view in the pane. Now, just for the fun of it, let's go ahead and, yeah, the visual filter seems to be still functional there. And again, seems to apply to that book only. So not sure what's going on there, Ron, but I thought it's a good test to see. So again, the view is the multi-view. That's what allows me to do this. So I have to click. Now notice it's taking me 3 clicks to get where I want. I go to view, I go to add parallel text, I then enable it, and now my settings are there. So be aware of that. Your interlinear view is now here. So this is where you can control what you can see. You still have the same menu options, inline and reverse. I'm going to enable it. And as I expand it, I can choose what I want to have and what I don't want to have. And just by the way, it may seem like I'm flying through this, and I am. This is all being recorded, and this will be made available on YouTube once we're all finished. So you'll be able to rewind and watch as often as your heart's desire. All right, so we can control our interlinear through the view, what we're viewing. And notice down below, we have the this view here. Now be aware, this is kind of important. See how I'm flowing my mouse, and I'm not getting any morphology view. That's because this view down here is open. If I go to interlinear view and I get rid of the reverse interlinear pane, and now I float my mouse, I get the pop-up. So this is really important. If you like the pop-ups, don't use that inline interlinear pane at the bottom. However, if you use the inline interlinear pane at the bottom, you can right-click at the far left. You can add morphology, and now you can float your mouse, and you will get the pop-up. So it's a matter of where you like to see the data and how you want to arrange. So you can play with this back and forth, and then it's just a matter of toggling on and off your inline view. So here's the key takeaway. When the reverse interlinear pane is enabled, you will not get any pop-ups from the inline above, okay? But the pop-ups do work down below, and that's the key to remember. So I'm not a big fan of the reverse interlinear pane. I like to float my mouse and see the information down below. That's just the way I'm wired, but both views are very, very good. Okay, so let me turn off the interlinear pane. Let me look at the questions here. Like you had, yeah, I think, Ron, you definitely got some quirky thing. You may want to even just shut down Logos and reopen it and make sure that's okay. Okay, let's go to the next thing, the page view. This is where we can turn on that multiple column view. So we have to enable it first. Notice there is a keyboard shortcut, and a lot of these, some of these have shortcuts, some of these do not. I think it would behoove Logos to add shortcuts to all these things, and then you can memorize your favorite keyboard shortcut to get there. Now, I don't normally use this for my Bibles, but I do use this for commentaries. It turns out your mind actually can read more effectively and stay more focused with a multiple column view. So this is really helpful, especially for those older books from the 1900s, where they're really dense with long sentences. So take advantage of that, but that's how you can have the view. And again, you can toggle it on and off in the view. The locator bar, surprisingly, is here. And again, you can toggle that. It just lets you know where you are in the book. So if we jump to Revelation, I'm now in the book of Revelation. We go to a specific verse. Now we're in chapter 1, chapter 2. Very helpful. So just be aware it's under the view. Logos did finally make a big change with the zoom. You'll no longer see that big A, little a with the little timeline. I'm glad they got rid of that because it was sometimes difficult to know what was 100. So especially if you're on a Mac and so forth. So now you literally can see the percentage and you can increase and decrease. Now here's the rule to remember. If you make an individual change to one book, okay, and you go and change the settings for the whole program. So let me go ahead and do this. Program settings. Here we are. And in the settings, we can actually change content and program. I'm going to change this to 100, or let's do 80. You'll see that it did not change because it's a custom setting for a specific book. But if I'm at 100%, that's the default setting, and I now change this to, let's say, 80%, It's supposed to change, but it didn't. Now I'm going to close it and let me open it up and just see if it's shrunken. Yeah, it shrinks. So let's go back and test this theory one more time, and we'll go to 120%, 160%. We'll change this back to 120, and let's close the book, reopen it up, and that looks like it is key. That looks like, let's go to view. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it remembered the setting per book. So you may have to refresh to see the overall setting if you change the default, but in essence, once you customize a particular book, that's the way it's going to be always. So be aware of that. They've also added the full screen option. Still F11 on the keyboard shortcut, but there you go. And then to get it back, just you'll notice the full screen is still here at the right. You can click it and you're good to go. All right, let's close that down. Not seeing more questions. Let's jump to tools. All right, so tools is pretty straightforward. If you want some kind of extra tool to help the program, help your Bible study, this is where you go. So we got the compare translation. That's going to open it up. The translate button, that's going to open up. Now, here's the new AI feature, summarize. This is pretty cool. Now, you're not going to normally use this in a Bible, but just for the fun of it, let's do this. Let's put in Revelation 20, 1 through 10. All right, that's a pericope. And I'm going to click, now summarize. Now look at this. It's Revelation chapter 20. I can't get the specific unless, let's try to select it. All right. So now I'm doing summarize. Let's just toggle it and see what happens. Yeah, you'll see that it's at a chapter level. Now I'm going to click summarize and just see if Logos will do it at the verse level. It won't. There you go. So now I'm doing the whole chapter. Now there's a possible workaround for this. And let me see if I can, let's see if I'm not sure if I can do this. Yeah, I don't think there's a workaround for this one. So there you go. We have the read aloud option, and Logos is, Logos has changed the button here. So now this little pop-up appears. You can't move it at this point in time, but you have your play, pause, your skip backwards 30 seconds. You have your speed that you can change. So you can go from 0.75 up to 2, and then you have your close button. So just be aware of that. And for translations that have an actual voice, which I believe the ESV does. Let me go ahead and open up the ESV Bible. Here we go. There we go. All right. And if we go to tools, we go to read aloud, you'll see there's some more options. Okay. We can show the word by word indicator. We can choose the narrator. And now we're good to go. Let's go ahead and start reading. And so now you can see the narrator here at the bottom. And you can see this, follow the dot. So here we go. You'll see the dot. There it is. Okay. So the tools is pretty helpful in getting you access to the read aloud. You can start a reading plan, and there's your print and export. Notice that Logos is inserting that keyboard shortcut to the right to let you know. Let me go ahead and close this down. And not seeing any questions here. Let's go ahead and click on share. All right, so share. This is kind of frustrating, frankly, but it's where it's located now. So if you want to copy a Bible passage, you can do it by selecting the text, and there's the copy button. But keep in mind, you don't need the menu for this. You can still do it the old-fashioned way. Select the text, right-click, and now you can choose reference, and you can choose copy. So at least Logos has kept the right-click menu, and you have that capability. There's the translate, all the other features. But if you are looking to share, think of sharing a verse. Well, to share it, I've got to copy it. So I have to select the text, and then copy's enabled. Notice we have copy special, which gives me those options of fully formatted, 1 verse per line, Bible text only, or I can launch the copy Bible verses icon, and that will launch the copy verses tool. And then down below, I have a link, search term, plain text. So you might remember, I think Logos, used to be this menu down here. This vertical menu is totally radically changed. So now, if I want to save this spot, let's say I'm in, let's open up a book. Let's say one of you guys owns the MacArthur Study Bible, or better yet, let's do the New American, the Bible Knowledge Commentary, because most of you have this in your library. I'm going to select the text. I'm going to choose more since it's not there. There's share. I'm then going to choose copy link. All right. And look at the option. I didn't get any options, which is kind of interesting. All right. You would think you'd have the copy special, but we're not seeing that here. Let me just redo that once again. And it's just copy link. So that option is not there. So there's the share. Then we have the copy link. And then we have create slides. This is the visual copy capability. So it takes the selected verse and then gives us the multimedia options. We can click find media, and now we can click the slide of our choice. So no difference there. There's your send to, sending the proclaim, the canvas, etc., and your print export. All right, so that's the new dynamic toolbar. And like I said, it's a big change. It's going to take some time to get used to. In the end, it's a few more clickings, but it is a little bit of a cleaner interface. Be sure to let Logos know what you think. The more feedback that we all give, the better this toolbar will work. All right, and we're good to go there. As far as the menu on other books, it's pretty much identical. Again, a few slight changes, but there you go. And let's see, tools. You do have the summarize tool in the books, which we've demonstrated. And again, you can do it at the article level. So notice again, Logos is smart. It knows where you are in the article, and then you choose to what detail you want to summarize. And so very useful for that. All right, I think we're ready now to talk about the Bible Study Builder. This is a big deal. Question, did they fix the print export to work with search results? Let's go ahead and see. So I'm going to go ahead and type in justification. And let's run that one. And here we go. And then we're going to go to print export. And there we go. That's the view. I'm not sure, but over here we have all the options to export out. And that's one example. Let's check out the concordance search, because that's really kind of a big one where exporting matters. So we're going to go to Tools, Concordance. It's a tool that a lot of people don't use, and I think one of the reasons they don't use it very much is that you can't export the real good data. So let's do, let's here, we're in a heading, and let's just click Export. Let's see what we get for the export. Actually to Excel is where I want to go to, and we'll send to a new document, Microsoft Excel. It's still exporting out just 2 columns of information, not very helpful, unfortunately. So for example, if I want to do a book and export all the verses in a particular chapter, not as easy as you'd like it to be. Okay, so that answers that question. Let's now look at this new tool. So let me close all this down. So we're going to go to Tools, and you'll see that Logos has inserted Bible Study Builder. Let's click on that, and we'll put in the passage John 3:16. This is a John MacArthur. Now we can look at the text and add it. So you can view in here and see if you want to add anything. Here's where things get interesting. We can generate questions with AI. So this will borrow some of your AI tokens. Now we've got something very useful. What is one of your favorite memories related to sharing or receiving love? How does that connect? So that's a good question. There we go. A nice icebreaker question. We've now added it to this. We can give our Bible study, John 3:16 a title, and then we can keep adding these. The only way to bring it over is to do it this way. Click the 3 dots over here. You can't quite see it because I have multiple screens, but I'm going to go and print export, and there's our handout. Now we can show notes if we had any, and we'll put those in there in a second. So let me go ahead and put some notes here. So let me tell you. All right, there we go. So these are additional notes to the question. And now we can click on the print export. There it is, the print export icon. And now we can show the notes if we want. So essentially, the way this will work is you add the questions. These notes are for you, for your teaching notes, if you want to use it that way. They also could be notes that you can print out for the class, or you can leave it blank, leave the questions, and they can do this themselves. And so we have this hidden question. So let's go ahead and put this back in there. And so what the hidden is, it's removing it from this list. That's the idea. So if you don't want to see it, just click there. That'll remove it. And now you're focusing just on the questions that you have. All right, we've got some good questions here. Will they ever allow you to export to Pages instead of Word? That's a great question. Currently, any export to Pages from Mac is not possible, even with this current version. So as you can see, this is really nice and can be very useful. On a side note, this is a great way to just generate questions for a message, etc. And you can share this with other people online, faith life group, etc. So I really like this feature, and I think it's pretty helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and close this one down. Now, all these features that I've been demonstrating are all part of the Logos Premium, Logos Pro, and Logos Max. The real difference now, besides the AI credits, is with Pro and Max, you're getting the sermon tools with AI. That's the big difference. So if you're not interested in the sermon tool whatsoever, Premium is the way to go. Now, again, let me take a moment here real quick because I think this is important. Let me jump really quick and give you guys the link. Here's the link. All right. And you just click that. And here's the breakdown. And then I'm going to go back to the features. So Premium, this is monthly, no discounts. If you're a faculty or a student, you will get a discount. So Premium is $10 a month, Pro is $15, and Max is $20 a month. Now, if you go with monthly, you pay the highest rate. If you go annually, all right, then the rate goes down. You actually saved, I think it's like 2 months. You get a free 2 months because if we did this if we did this at $10, that'd be $120. By doing it annually, I saved myself $20, which is 2 months. So basically, you're paying for 10 months. I'll be honest with you, this is the real frugal way to go. Go with the annual. However, Logos is trying to incentivize you to get you to add an extra year, all right? And if you do that, you get an extra, so that would have been, so let me back up. So that would have been $200 that you would have spent if you did it just annually. But if you add the second year, instead of $200, you're paying $190, so you get an extra $10 off. Now, the advantage of doing the extra year is you now are subscribed for 2 years, and Logos says that if you subscribe without interruption for 2 years, and cancel at the end of 2 years, all the features that you've collected, you keep, except for any feature that requires AI and essentially requires online, all right? So bottom line here is Logos is now requiring you to pay a maintenance fee. Now, they're not doing it for nothing. You are getting a lot of benefits. So I want to stress this. This is something really key. What are the extra perks? And I've got those listed here. You're going to get a 5% discount on the store. So don't buy anything in the store yet until you sign up and are on the subscription because you're immediately going to get a 5% discount at any future. So if you're going to buy a library, click my link, sign up, and then buy the library and get these additional discounts. You're going to get one free book monthly. Those books typically average and cost about $5 to $10. So that essentially pays for the subscription. You also are getting mobile ed courses. Those are hundreds of dollars. So that pays for it as well. And if you are an existing owner of Logos 10, you will get 30% off the monthly subscription price. Thanks for that reminder, Ron. Now, one of the other advantages of being on the subscription is that all your purchases at the end of the year in February, you get a 5% rebate. So the bottom line here is, yes, you're paying anywhere from $10 to $20 a month, but you're going to either break even or get that money back. And you're now getting all the new features possible. So I've been using the Faith Life Connect subscription model all this time, which was roughly $15 a month or $10 a month, something like that. And so switching was very easy for me. But at the end of the day, I think Logos has made a good value proposition. It makes sense if you're a regular user. Get the discounts, get the subscription, and it's gonna pay for itself. It really will. And it's unfortunate that you have to do this, but this is just the new world we live in. I'm not a big fan of subscription models, as you know, but it is sometimes necessary to pay for that ongoing expense. Okay, as far as finding the libraries, so what you want to do is go to LearnLogos.com and type in the phrase 2025 library. Right now, this is the easiest way to navigate to all the libraries. And now you'll see all of them and the cost. You'll need to sign in to see your discount. But again, don't buy anything unless you first do the subscription, because the subscription will give you a discount And you'll be this, if you stay with the subscription, at the end of the year, you get a rebate. So this is just a smart way to go. So this will allow you to see all the features, all the different libraries. Just type in 2025 library and you're going to see them all there. And there is a ton of these things. And they are going to be coming out with denominational ones later. But right now, we've got these major platform libraries. So be aware of that. Okay, that should help you find some books. Let's jump now into the Sermon Assistant tool. Does academic pricing make it lower, Dave? Absolutely. And do you need to purchase a library with a subscription? No. So those are two separate purchases. However, if you plan on buying the library, buy the subscription first, get that enabled, and then get the discount when you buy the library. I think that is the best approach. And again, once you sign in, dynamic pricing kicks in, and it will give you the best price possible. All right, let's go to Sermon Assistant. Let's see what's going on. So let's go to Sermon Builder. And again, you can get there by going to Docs, click New, and click Sermon. What's new? What's going on? Let me just review a couple of these really quick. So information button allows you to put the metadata, the associated information with your sermon. I use this all the time as I preach preach weekly. So let me go to my sermons, and here's my last message I preached. And I use this to keep track of my series, what passage I'm preaching. I have my name, the date, the location, the time, who the audience is. I love this feature. It's really great. And that allows me to manage it with the Sermon Manager. So if I go to Sermon Manager and bring that over, I now have all my sermons in here, as well as other people. But if I were to put just my name in there, and let me do that real quick. All right, now I can see all my sermons related to Falahi. I have some other ones with some other people, but I can see my calendar. And this just allows me to see, here I am in 1 Peter and so forth. So love that capability. That's not a new feature, but I at least want to make you aware of it. Now we have the notebook, Sermon Notebook, and this is just allow you to link a notebook to your message. So this way you can save kind of all your raw research notes. Very handy. You just select it here. I recommend naming the notebook either after the passage or the name of the sermon to keep it simple. The history allows you to kind of version. So this is a big deal. If you make changes, you can see all those versions. So if you make a mistake, you can go back. Popular quotes is pretty handy. If we type in love, we can get some quotes on love. And this will draw from your library. And I love this feature because it just allows a sermon to be less academic and relate and connect with the audience. All right, those are the normal features. Let's go into the AI and see what's going on. All right, I'm going to expand this a little bit to have a little more room, and so we can have some options here. So let's break this down. And again, this feature is only available for the Logos Pro and the Logos Max. Now, we have 4 options: outlines, illustrations, questions, and applications. We got to put in a passage. Now, I just preached 1 Peter chapter 1, 10 through 16. I have selected outlines. I'm now selecting my verse. I could put in a sermon theme, which really is holiness for this particular passage. So we'll leave that there. We have this option, number of outline points. I'm going to go, I like to have my messages between 3 to 5, so let's go with 5. And then I can select my audience. I always go with adults. Let's go ahead and generate and see what Logos provides for us. Now, you get 3, I believe, automatically. And this will use up a lot of AI credits, so just be aware of that. And this will take a few moments. This doesn't happen instantly. Okay, Dave says, no, you do not need to purchase library with the subscription. He's absolutely right. You don't have to, but if you do, there are some extra benefits. So that's why I was trying to balance it out. They are 2 separate purchases, but if you want those rebates, if you plan to stay in the subscription, then it's really nice. All right, here we go. I had the visual ad. That's what I figured. Okay, excellent, Ron. Very helpful. Okay, so here we go. Call to reflect His holiness. We have a summary. We have an application. We have a teaching, how this passage could point to Christ. We're going to scroll down some more. Big idea, the recommended study, and then here's our outline. Prophetic promises. Notice that it's actually drawing from these verses, 10 through 12, 13, 14, 15 through 16. What's really fascinating is that is exactly how I outlined my text. All right, so in as far as the breaking down the passage that way. So here's one. I've got one. Now I can insert this. Let's click insert. And now I'm inside my sermon doc, and I now can begin to work with it. Okay, so now I have this framework with the key passages. And even though I said 5, it ended up generating 4. And that will happen sometimes. Now, again, this is no way a sermon. That's not its point. The idea is to brainstorm, to make sure you're on the right track. Now, I would do this after the fact, but if you are coming to a passage and you're just struggling, this might be a good way to kind of jumpstart. So that's the sermon assist with outlines. Let's go to the next one. So now let's say you're preaching a message and you come to a passage, you need an illustration. Let's say we want an illustration for 1 Peter 1:10. Now, here's the idea. So let's float our mouse. As to the salvation, the prophets who prophesied of the grace would come to you make careful searches. All right, so this is all about them searching for the person and time of Christ when he would come, his sufferings and glories. So I need an illustration. Let's say it this way. Give me an illustration. I can't even type today. Of someone searching for a person. Now we have serious, emotive, lighthearted. You can only select one of these. I like to go emotive, and then I like historical. I really do. I want something historical, but we can do all 4. Let's do that way to get the most options, and we can select all groups, but tone has to be one or the other. So let's go emotive, and let's see what we get. So I'm looking for an illustration for searching for a person, because that's what was going on. They were searching the scriptures. Now, here we go. In his last hours, renowned author John Steinbeck faced an urgent search. He wanted to reconnect with his long-lost friend. He combed through old letters, photographs, each piece holding a memory. This quest revealed how vital relationships are, remind us of the love and connection often fades amidst life's hustle. Just as Steinbeck sought his friend, Christ seeks each of us, longing to deepen our relationship with him. Now, this isn't bad. So we could click insert and we can add it. Now, we might want to modify this to make it more reflective of the text, because what I would do to kind of twist this a little bit, it says, because of the prophet's passion and love for Christ, for their Savior, they sought the scriptures to know more. And yes, Dave, it does look through your library as well as AI. And so you do have that capability. Here we go. A 1960s civil rights group activist traveled across the South searching for missing children. This is a very emotional one, driven by hope and determination. This illustration might be too strong. So you have to be careful in what you choose. We can copy all, insert all. All right, so that's pretty straightforward on illustrations. And if you go into, Logos will draw from us. That stuff is in your library as well as outside your library. So be aware of that. I really like the questions. This is really great, particularly life application questions, but I like to do all of them. And I'm just going to put in generate. Notice that there's no other options here. All right, it's the passage. Let's see what happens. So now we're in questions, and Logos is generating these for each passage. So 110, if we scroll down, there's 13, there's 14. What does 1 Peter 10 through 12 teach us about the relationship between holiness and God's redemptive plan? How can God's holiness influence the way we view our own action decisions? So again, it's generating this for us. How do you check how many tokens you have? Yeah, unfortunately right now, John, Logos only tells you how many tokens you have left when you only have 20% left. But where you would check is up here at the top right, and Logos is going to put it here. And at some future point, they promise to put it ongoing, so it'll be a real-time update. So for now, you don't know until you hit the 80% mark, and then you'll know, and it recharges every month. So great question. Now, notice what's going on here. These questions are pretty generic, and that's one of the limitations. What I do when I play with the software here is I actually will go into my AI account, and let me demonstrate this really quick here. So let me bring it in, and I will say, give me 3 appropriate and relevant, thought-provoking questions for the following message, okay? So by giving it more context, And this would be here. And I'm going to go up to here. This would be first 10, 1 Peter 1, 10 through 11. All right? Actually, it should be 12. Let's do it this way. All right? I'm putting context into it. And this is where the limitations right now of Logos is that it's going to generate some questions for you, but the questions aren't going to be as connected to your sermon as you would like. So my advice is certainly run it, see what questions they get, and then bring your sermon, your text into it, and now we get more relevant questions, and you can also tell the AI what type of questions that you're looking for. So very, very powerful in that way, because notice we're not getting any options here, okay? We need more options. And then if we go to applications, now we have the idea. So questions are just generated. They should have an option there. Now let's talk about applications. This is really useful. I like to select everything. I need a thought-provoking application for 1 Peter 1, 10 through, let's go 12, on holiness, on the topic of holiness. And the more information you give it, the more specific you are, the better you'll probably get what you're looking for. Let's go ahead and hit generate, and let's see what the AI inside Logos can generate. So here we go. We got a few very quickly. In your work environment, it can often feel like everyone is motivated by personal gain rather than godliness. To cultivate holiness in the setting, start a weekly prayer group. Okay, so that's an application. Here, as a teen in school, peer pressure can lead you to compromise your values and standards. Identify a specific challenge like using hurtful language or compromising your studies for social acceptance. Begin a daily challenge. So not bad, but again, helpful. Moving us, getting us more comfortable with this technology, playing with it a little bit more, we'll get a little bit better. So hopefully that will give you an idea. Again, this is available this was available in Pro and Max as far as the subscription models go. Now let's talk about another feature that's available with Pro and Max that Logos is finally, or at least they've enabled it on the mobile app. So let me jump really quick to there, and I brought in my iPhone and my tablet. Okay, you'll notice that if we click on the menu here at the bottom, more, and we go up to the menu, Bible Study Builder is built into the mobile app. So be aware of that. So that's pretty cool. And also for both the tablets, you now can actually edit your message inside the tablet, both for iPad and Droid. This is a big deal. So you can work on your desktop and then bring it into your iPad. You can preach from it, which I love, and I'll show you that in a minute. You'll notice that there is an AI assistant there at the top, and those assistants are there as well. So outline, illustrations, questions, applications. Okay, it's really identical to the desktop version, so be aware of that. And then also, you can, and let me demonstrate. I love this preaching tool, so click on Preach. And what's nice about the preaching is a couple things. First, it gives you this nice, easy to read page format. You can set a timer at the top, so this will flash when your time is up. And then also down at the bottom, you can do the next page. And this is what I really like. It controls what you're seeing. You'll notice that sometimes there's some gray text, like right here. This is a transition statement. It's to let you know that you've come to the end of the page and it's time to hit the next page. And it literally is the first sentence on the next page. So I'm really thrilled that Logos has added the sermon tool in the tablet. So now you can not only edit your message, but you can preach from the message very nicely. Surprisingly, let me tap on this, and let's go back to the dashboard here. All right. So here's the new dashboard. As you can see, very similar, not many changes there. Let me go now to the screen. Let me hit done, get back to our screen. And I'm going to click the menu here, the more button. And of course, Logos has done, they've continued to try to update their online version of their app. And that's one of the reasons why you're seeing all these menu changes and so forth. Now, I'm going to sign in as myself really quick here. And walk you through. Now, by default, when you sign in, you're taken to the dashboard, and it always puts the toolbar at the left. I'm not a big fan of that, so I like to click the three dots at the bottom left, click Settings, and then right away I'm going to click Top. And now the bar is there, which is the way I prefer. And I'm going to click X to close this little reminder. So there's my toolbar with the icons at the top. Gives me a lot more space. So you can see the new menus are there, all just like before. However, keep in mind there are some limitations to the desktop app. You have access to all your books, or I should say most of them. For example, some books like Open Text, your clause visualizations, they will show up here. But if you click on it, at this point, they're still unavailable. And you'll see this happen. So you have access to all your books online, but there's some that just are not visually possible to see. Also, when you click on Tools, you'll see some limitations here. So we do have the Bible Study Builder, we do have the Psalms Explorer, but you don't see the Proverbs Explorer. But one little tip, you can open it up if you type in the command box Proverbs Explorer. And it will work, but it's a little bit wonky. It takes a little time, it's a little slow, and there's some visual issues along the way. So think of the app.logos.com, the web version, a slimmed down version, but getting closer and closer. We have the Sermon Builder, the Sermon Manager. There's a lot of key features in here that are available. And if we could do antithetical parallel, and you can see that. So it's not showing me the verses, but that's okay. I just need to see oh, there it is. Again, like I said, a little bit of display, a little delay in the display. So a lot of same features. If we go to our Bible, let's go to, let's say, Genesis 1:1. Okay. You'll see that the Insights is there. We have that capability. We can right-click on the Greek or Hebrew text. It will take a moment, but we do get access to many, but not all, the right-click menu options. So just be aware that Logos is continuing to make the app.logos.com more powerful, which means that you don't have to take your laptop always. It'll be slower, and you need an online account, and you need an internet connection. But at the end of the day, Logos is getting there faster and faster. Okay. Wow. We have covered a lot of ground. And let me give you those links again real quick. I'll put in the chat box. And let me minimize this. So at this point, while I'm reading a few more things to wrap up, can I answer any more questions that I haven't at this point? Because we've covered a lot of ground in literally an hour and 40 minutes. And I'll go through, and I'm going to edit a few things out and see if I've missed anything. But let me give you that link again to get the access to the free, there we go, chat box, and this will give you free access to the trial and so forth. Okay, yeah, intertextual study. Thank you. I did not forget. All right, so let's take a passage and work through this. So let's go to, I think 1 Peter is actually a pretty good one in that 10 through 14. So let's go there because it is making a reference to the Old Testament, but indirectly. And so here we go. So as is salvation. So how do you do this? So the way I've done intertextual studies is a couple ways. I have a custom guide, and I think I do. Let me pull that up. Intertext. There we go. And you can download this, Ron, for free. All right, so I'm going to open this up, and we can just click the three dots, click links at A, and we'll link them all. So again, there's that habit I have. I want to go right here to the three dots and do links at A, but I can't. So I have to stop and think, all right, how do I do this? So then what I do is I go through my menus, and eventually I get to the tools, and this is just the nightmare we're going to have. There's my link set on the home page. I go to links at A. So it's going to take a little time to break that habit. All right, so this particular custom guide that I made is one of the strategies that I approach with intertextual studies. So by creating a custom guide, I bring in just what I need. And again, this is free. Just go to Documents, go to Public, type in Intertext. All right. And in a moment, you'll look for Intertext, and you look for LearnLogos. Now, this happens sometimes. Let me just make sure I am sharing this one. Usually, I have these all shareable. And, oh, that's why. There we go. Let me now share it. There you go. Okay, so intertext is now shareable. So if we go to Documents, type in intertext, it should appear momentarily. Let's just refresh it and come back. And there we go. And there it is, Intertext Learn Logos Guide right there. All right, so the idea then is you just basically expand these, and this is going to tell you if there is any allusions and so forth to an Old Testament passage. So here it is, 1 Peter 1:11. Knowing the person and time, the Spirit of Christ was indicated in his sufferings. What is that? Obviously, Psalm 22. That is a clear reference. And Isaiah 53. Logos nails it on this one. So this intertext is a great tool. I also like parallel passages because this particular resource will also grab some additional ones. Now, again, we're seeing Isaiah 53, Psalm 22, but we do have this particular one, Exodus 12:11. Now, you should eat in this manner with your loins girded. This is the Passover. So that is a very relevant intertextual. And then we have the additional resources, cross-references, where you can scour these. Let's do the new treasury. So what I do is I use the Power Lookup. So let me close this down. We'll go to Tools. We'll go to Power Lookup. I'll select my text, and now only those verses will appear in the Power Lookup. And if I drag and drop the Power Lookup, I can make it fill up more of my screen. And so now I'll go through these, and I'll look at all the Old Testament references. There's Genesis 49:10. I have found that the new treasury works really well. Okay, question. The intertext tool looks like a custom passage guide. Is that correct? Yes, John, that's exactly what it is. I've been making custom guides available on Logos for a long time. I've got hundreds of them there for you. And yes, can we make multiple custom passage guides and use them all at the same time? Well, I'll answer it this way. You're going to be limited on what you can fit inside your screen. That's going to be your first limitation. But as far as custom guides, yeah, you can make as many as you want and simple or in depth as you want. Let me just walk you through a strategy. So I have the LearnLogos.com study method, and I've broken this down into essentially 11 steps. Each one is particular for a step. And in fact, let me take a moment to just pause and show you this. So I'm going to back up here. So I'm creating, starting tomorrow, actually, with the first session, LearnLogos.com/study. This is paid, and this is going to be a huge course, 17 live sessions. I'm going to record it. You'll be able to watch offline. Each session comes with a personal book. This is an in-depth how to prepare a message, how to study the Bible webinar that I'm doing, but it's paid. And it's discounted $100. It's normally $200. And this is going to go super in depth into everything and how to use Logos to study the Bible. And in there, I'm going to show you layouts. I'm going to create custom guides for you. We're going to go on different side courses and have mini lessons on specific features of Logos relevant to Bible study and sermon prep. It's really in depth. The webpage, if you go there, let me just pull it up so that way you can kind of see the topics. Okay, so here's the product, and here's what it's going to do. It's going to be actually 17 sessions. I'll have to update that. So tomorrow is going to be the first one, and that's where we're going to introduce the new features. And then part one is confession, right? This is all about getting yourself ready, the role of prayer, and so forth, and part observation. Then part two, we're going to show you how to diagram with a tool called Open Text, which is going to save you a ton of time. Then we'll go into exegete. This is part three. This is where we go into word studies, grammar studies, cross-reference. That's the next part. Part four is analyze. Then we do cross-referencing, historical background, theological background. Then we go to check commentaries. Then we go to part five, relate. There's the illustrations, the applications. Section 11. Now we get into actual delivering, writing up the message. How do you organize it? And so we're getting to some really practical stuff. We're going to take you through an actual verse, several verses. We're going to build this outline together. That's why we're spreading it over many weeks. If I drop this on one day on you, you'd never get through it all. So we're going to meet every other week, work through a specific passage. We'll talk about the mobile app and so forth. So this is very similar to my digital sword book, but much more enhanced. If you did purchase the digital sword, you'll be getting access to this course as well for those who got in the pre-order. If you get Digital Sword today, you won't get it. This was all a kind of a pre-order package deal. So this is the course. All right, so it's a major course. It will be the most in-depth use of Logos for Bible study and sermon prep on the planet. I promise you there. And again, all the videos are recorded, major personal books with a lot of in-depth help and so forth. All right, so let me go back now to the Logos. So back to your question, as far as these custom guides, absolutely. So let me demonstrate this. So here's my prayer custom guide. I have my Bible, my notes, etc., my prayer journal, and then my special customized guide, and then my search. And we're going to be updating all these for the new version of Logos to take into account the new tools. That's the prayer one. Here's observing. So I'm going to click on observing, and here's the steps. We've got the Bible, we've got this custom guide for observing, and then we have our special search. And each one of these steps is going to walk us through those steps in the Bible study process. Now, we're going to have a very large process we walk through, but we're also going to have what I call the fast and furious, where we're going to give you more of a streamlined approach rather than this more thorough engage. So with the training, you're going to have both. But I always want to be sensitive to, let's just get it done, and then let's be thorough. And we want to do both. But this is a methodology that I use every week to work through my passages, and allows me to get my sermon prep done in a fair amount of time, pretty efficiently. I'm a bivocational pastor, so I work 40, 50 hours secular, and then I have all my pastoral responsibilities. And so without Logos, I just could not do that. All right, so that answers that question. How do you install a custom passage guide? So let's walk through that process really quick so you can see how to do that. All right, so let me close everything. So you're going to go to Documents. Then you're going to click on Public. And let's just download this inner text, the one I just downloaded or added. So you'll type in inner text in the search box. You'll click on it once. You go up to the top right, and you'll click Add to your docs. You'll see a blue bar appear and disappear quickly. Now, the key thing to remember is we need to put this back to ours. So let's click Yours, and you'll see that it doesn't show up here under Documents because it's a guide. So we'll just click on Document icon, make that window disappear, and then we click Guides. And then we can type in Enter Text, and we will find the custom guide inner text. We click on it to open it up, and now you have it in your layout. And then you can save that layout by going up here to Layout, wait for Logos to refresh, and then after you get your layout organized, you'll click Saved as Name Layout, and you are good to go. So great question. Yes, Heath, this will be following the Digital Sword book. And for all those who had pre-ordered the Digital Sword book, that training course I just showed is automatically included. All right. Any other questions that I have missed? We are wrapping up our time together. We did it. We went 2 hours straight on. Can you show me how you were selecting a text in your Bible and having the same phrase appear? Yeah, great feature. So let's open up a Bible. Here we are, New American Standard. I'm going to go to my library, type in the Greek Bible, NA28, and we will go to the NA28. Here we go. And I'll just link them. So again, we'll click on the three dots. Again, that's a bad habit I'm breaking. We go to Home because we're doing the Home. Link set A, just so we have it matched. We'll click on Home. Link set A. We got a match. All right. So to make this selection worth, we're talking about, I think it's under formatting. Yeah. Let's make sure. Yep. I think that's the one. Yep. Formatting. Then you go to Emphasize. Click Emphasize. And what we want is corresponding text in other books, text selection. All right, there you go. So you make sure those are all checked. Make sure the show visual emphasis is emphasized. Click the three dots and say show in all appropriate books. Boom. All right. Now, if we go over, excuse me, if I lost my voice there for a second. If we go over to our Greek Bible, click on formatting, click on emphasize. We can see it's enabled, and we can see text selections. Now, I'm going to uncheck search results because I don't want that. I have found that can get in the way. So there we go. And do not show in any books. There we go. All right. Now, all we got to do is grab those phrases, and you can see the associated Greek words being highlighted. And you'll notice that sometimes the words are in order, sometimes there's intervening words. And that will allow you to select the text. And it goes both ways. So if we select another Greek phrase here, we can see that being highlighted as well. My next webinar is November 7th, and we're going to walk you through how to study kings and prophets in the Old Testament. All right, what other questions do we got? What is the difference between update active and update to current snapshot? Layouts. Yeah, let me explain that real quick. So let's go back to Logos. All right, so here we go. So let's say I open up an existing layout. All right, if I go to layouts, let's say I'm using this layout over and over, and now it's a new week, and I'm no longer in Mark, I'm in a different passage, right? So now I'm in Mark 1, verse 2. This is an existing layout. I don't want to remove the layout, but I want to update it to my current version. So I click on Layouts, and I have Update Active. Now, one thing you need to know before you press it, always look to the very top left, because at the top left is the name of the layout you're going to be updating. And when you're switching back and forth between screens and layouts, it's real easy to lose track of where you've been or where you are. So Update Active is only for an existing layout that you want to modify, update it, make it newer, refresh it. Saved as name layout, all right, is actually going to create a new layout. All right, so that's Update Active. And as far as update to current snapshot, snapshot is just the last thing. Logos is kind of capturing these screen images. And so you can click on them and it'll actually bring it up. Okay, so anytime you click on a snapshot, you can bring it up and then you can save as. All right, so it's just a matter of control. The truth be told, I very rarely will use the update active, but on occasion I will. I just kind of have my layouts locked in there and I just reuse those because changing of passage is all I'm doing, and that's pretty straightforward. So great question. Thanks, you guys. You're awesome. Appreciate it. It's been a great time.